East Coast LQ Reviews. Today, we're reviewing a beer by 450 North Brewing Company. This is their Sour Diesel Slushy XL. It is a smoothie style sour ale with blackberry, boysenberry, blackcurrant, and plum. Unfortunately, there's no canned on date. 5.3% alcohol by volume. 450 North. Make some really good heavily fruited sours. I've had some products from them in the past. Pretty good. Do a large amount of fruit in this beer. Store cold, drink fresh. I'm going to do a little bit of a roll on the table here. Then do a couple turns in the can. And then we're going to pour it up. So, blackberry, boysenberry, blackcurrant, and plum. Right. These cans are pretty expensive. I think I paid $8 or $9 for a single can. 4-pack will cost you around 30 bucks. Very pricey, in my opinion. Super thick though. Look at that. Right. So, color of the beer. I'd say it's like magenta colored. Or like, actually more like, I guess you'd say, well, more magenta head with like a blurple, like a bluish purple body. Super thick. Pretty much no clarity through the beer at all. But then, like I said, it's got like this magenta colored head. Very sudsy, one finger. Kind of looks like the head that you would get off Drecker. Like super foamy, sudsy, rocky. It's already starting to create a little bit of that puree lacing around the top of the glass there. Looks pretty dang good to me. I'm a big fan of this style of beer. I just don't purchase them too often because typically stuff like this is very expensive. So let's go for the nose. I get a lot of the blackcurrant and plum. It seems like it's a little bit more dried fruits forward, rather than the blackberry or the boysenberry. Those are definitely in the background. I'd say more blackberry than boysenberry, but up front, I get a lot of the plum. I think is the more dominant aroma personally. A little bit of an acidity, a big amount of sweetness. It doesn't smell super tart. Like I said, it's a little bit of an acidity, but it doesn't smell like it's going to be super sour. It smells like it's going to be pretty dang sweet. But yeah, I think I get a little bit more of like the dried fruits rather than like that sweet berry note. But overall, yeah, it smells pretty dang good. So let's dive in. Cheers. This one will throw you for a loop. The nose isn't that acidic, but the palate is actually very sour. It does have a good amount of that sour acidic finish. Good amount of sweetness up front. I'd say it's more blackberry and boysenberry on the palate though, with the lingering aftertaste of like the plum and the blackcurrant. So with those dried fruits, you get a little bit of that astringency, but you get that nice sweetness from the blackberry and the boysenberry up front. Yeah, it's a solid, heavily fruited sour. I will say, if you want something that's gonna fulfill your needs as far as like thickness to a heavily fruited sour, 450 North definitely does the job properly. 5.3%, of course, not noticeable. Tastes like a blended smoothie. Very thick, blended smoothie. Sweet to sour ratio. I think this one's a little bit more sour. I'd say about 3.5 out of 5 for the sour aspect, and then probably 3 out of 5 for the sweetness. So if you like sweet, heavily fruited sours, I think you would enjoy this. And if you like sour, heavily fruited sours that are actually sour, this one would definitely fulfill your needs for sure. Now, it is very thick and rich and flavorful, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's like overly filling or cloying. I like the amount of sweetness. It's not that sweetness where I'm not going to be able to finish the can, or I'm going to have to share with somebody else. It's got a good amount of sweetness to the point where it isn't that cloying sweetness where, like I said, you would just want to split it with somebody else, or maybe not drink a whole 16-ounce can. I think it's very drinkable. The acidity and the tart aspect definitely adds to the drinkability of the beer. It makes it very refreshing. Kind of like a glass of nice cold lemonade. And the thickness of it, it's like drinking a smoothie. It's not too filling. I mean, of course, you probably wouldn't want to have more than one of these in one night, but I wouldn't mind having one of these in just like a session. If I'm drinking other beers, maybe move on to something a little bit lighter after this. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job with the blend. You get a good amount of the berry aspect and then like the dried fruit aspect. It's not super dominant over the other, and I like that about this beer. So for rating, I'll give it like a maybe because I'm not super ecstatic about the fruits that they're using. Now, I'd say I'm more of a fan of like raisin rather than blackcurrant and plum, and I'm more of a fan of like raspberry compared to blackberry and boysenberry. But it's still a very good brew. I'll give it like a 94 out of 100 for sure. And even talking about the carbonation, excuse me. It's actually got a good amount of spritzy carbonation for a heavily fruited sour as well. I'd say it's about medium. And yeah, if you see it, try it, check it out. Like I said, they're a little on the spendy side, which is why I typically don't buy a lot from 450 North. I know they make some really good products, but you just can't buy them all the time considering they're like $30 something a 4-pack. Personally, I can't afford to be buying 4-packs of 450 North all the time. But every once in a while, for like a dessert or like a treat, kind of treat yourself to something like this. I think they're worth just having every once in a while. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna recommend it. Try it out. Maybe get a single can. Even though you do pay a lot more for the single cans. But who knows? Maybe you're not a super big fan of the fruit combination. I personally think it's pretty good, and I would recommend it. But you know, these heavily fruited sours, if there's a certain fruit in there that you don't enjoy, then you might not like the beer. But yeah, with that being said, if there's anything else that you guys like to see on my channel, make sure to leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more good videos like beer. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.